Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Kanesaid. Y'all know my slogan: the fame is free, but the grind costs. And this series of podcasts is based on individuals who grind, went through ups and downs to become owners, become entrepreneurs of their particular profession. And today, I have a great guest, man. I cannot wait for her to share her story. How you doing today?
Hey, Kane, I'm doing well.
Hey,
Thank
yeah,
you.
hey, listen, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
My name is Bethany Headrick, and I am head of school at Hillside Montessori School in LaGrange.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, okay. So let's get to this story. Let's talk about. So when people ask, who is Bethany? Who is Bethany?
Well, I guess I don't get that question so directly very often.
Right.
But if somebody asks me who I am, I think the things that define me the most right now at this point in my life are certainly my career, certainly
Okay.
my role here at Hillside Montessori. We started this school 10 years ago,
Okay.
and it is a prominent part of my everyday life and has been for that long. And even before that, when it was just kind of a vision and a dream. So definitely my, I am my role here. I am a mother to four children and a wife, and a try to be an active member of my local community, and
Right.
that's
That's
me.
you. That's you.
Yeah.
So listen though. Okay. Now, Montessori. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about how you said earlier, that dream, like what birthed that dream inside you to start the process.
Well, Montessori was my first personal experience in formal education. So when I
Okay.
first went to school as a 3-year-old, I went to a Montessori school
Wow.
here in LaGrange, First Presbyterian Montessori. And even though I was just there for preschool and kindergarten, 3 through 6 years old, that experience had such a profound influence on me. Um, when I got to the age where I really started to consider what affected me, why did I become the person that I became,
Right.
um, I would think about my experience as a Montessori student. And also my mother was a Montessori teacher, and I think that our household was very much run almost like a Montessori classroom. So I knew the positive effects that that experience had on me.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, so let's break down exactly what is a Montessori school like. I mean, to you, what's the difference? So, talk to us about that.
So at the base of a Montessori education, the Montessori philosophy is that it is a child-centered learning experience. So as opposed to children sitting in a classroom, learning, every child in the classroom learning the same things at the same time, at the same pace, the curriculum is designed to follow the developmental and academic needs of the children. And
Okay.
so within a classroom, um, classrooms are always 3-year age cycles, so you're not limited to just a year of curriculum. Each classroom holds at least 3 years of curriculum, and the way that it is designed, it can go beyond those 3 years as well.
Hmm.
So children are learning at their own pace, they're following interest, they're developing questions about the curriculum and about the things that they're learning, and then creating their own research projects to take their questions further. It's a hands-on approach to education. So especially in the earliest years, every concept that the children learn is first presented as a hands-on lesson with something they can see or something they can touch, something tactile that
Okay.
engages their interest and gets their attention and allows them to connect their hands with their mind and really make those learning experiences dynamic and interesting and engaging, so that the children are motivated to learn more and do more and want to go further with their education.
I love that. Okay, so let's go back for a minute, okay? All right, you say 10 years ago it was created, correct?
Yes, yes,
Right, right, right.
we incorporated in 2011.
Okay, okay. So take us back to that process. Like at first, I don't know if you can, if you could, well, I'm sure you can, but take us back to that process to where you guys started like, yo, I think we need to make this happen. Like, what was that process about?
Well, there's a Montessori school in LaGrange, First Presbyterian Montessori, that has been here for over 40 years now,
Okay.
and that's the school that I referenced that I started my formal education in. And so, as a mother, I had children in that school when my children were younger, and but that school ends kindergarten is the highest level in the school, and so for many years at different times, parents who saw what a fabulous program that was at First Presbyterian Montessori and how their children were thriving started to at different times along the way, parents would start to think of ways like, why can't we continue this? You know, we want our children to continue to thrive the way that they're thriving now. And we'd like to have an option for Montessori beyond the kindergarten level. And so it had been a conversation, an ongoing conversation on and off for years. And then I was teaching at LaGrange High School, so I was an English teacher in the public school system, and my second child was getting ready to age out of First Presbyterian Montessori, and so a group of other parents and I got together, um, along with my mother, who was the director of that school at that time, and started the conversation about what would it take to have a Montessori elementary program in LaGrange. And so that was the beginning. The beginning was just a conversation between
Yeah.
people who wanted to have options for their own children, but also for our community, because we know choices and options tend to improve all of the other opportunities as well.
Okay.
So we really wanted to start that conversation about how can education be more of a priority in our community, and what can we do to to make that happen.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk growth. Okay. So over the last 10 years, okay, so you guys started at what grade and where we at now?
So our enrollment has increased by about 517% since our first year, since we opened the doors in
Okay.
2012. We incorporated as a nonprofit in 2011, then opened our doors to our first students in 2012. Our first program was lower elementary, so first through third grade. Um, established so that children could graduate from First Presbyterian Montessori or from another preschool kindergarten program, and then have a Montessori elementary to go to. So we started with lower elementary, first through third grade, and had 12 students our first year. We were located in the Mitchell House at LaGrange College. And the second year, we added an upper elementary program. So in our second year of operation, we went through sixth grade, from first through sixth grade. And then since then, we've added two preschool and kindergarten classes, and also an adolescent program, so seventh and eighth grade. So,
Wow.
and we've increased enrollment from our initial class of 12 to 75 students. So 75 students in preschool through eighth grade.
Wow. See, that's some good growth there, though. That's some good stuff. So okay. Oh, so in terms of getting things ready, it's a behind the scenes type deal. I mean, what kind of help did you have with that? I mean, were you like, just you and your mom and a couple of people helping, or you had to like reach out to get extra help to make this happen?
Well, we ended up forming a powerful steering committee. And I always await opportunities to say these people's names, because this school would not be
Yeah,
here without them.
yeah.
So it is my mother, Pat Headrick, Dr. Melinda Pomeroy Black, who's a professor at the college, Christina Thurman, Melina Moyer, Laura Fuller, and Stacy Malone. And
Stacy
so,
Malone, yeah.
yeah, so
Stacy trains in my gym, and her kids do too.
Does she? Well, good for
Yeah.
her. That's what I need to start doing. I need to join her.
Man, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
So we started, none of us knew what we were doing.
Right.
All we knew was that there was a need and that we had a vision. And so it was a painstaking process of
Right.
making those things, meet and figuring out how do we turn this need in our community? How do we take our vision and make it meet the need in our community? And so there were steps we had no idea. We made mistakes. We and step by step we learned things about how to incorporate as a 501c3, how to build a business, what kind of licenses you need to run a school and things like that. So it was a process.
Right.
That's exactly what it was. It was a process of, like I said, sometimes making mistakes, sometimes finding the right answer the first time, and just being determined to push forward through all the
Yeah.
challenges and make it happen.
Wow. So, okay, so anytime during this process, did you second guess yourself?
That's a really good question. And I know that probably I should say yes, but I don't think I ever paused long
I
enough to
love it.
second
Hey,
guess
listen,
myself.
plan A, and that's it. I like that. I
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
Now, there were times when, in the first few years when I was teaching full time and I was running the school full time, that I definitely questioned whether or not I was making healthy life choices.
right, right.
But I don't think I nor anyone else involved in the founding of the school have questioned whether or not it was a good
Man,
idea and whether or not it was the right thing to do.
right, right. Because it's good you say that because a lot of times we talk about, having a plan B. So but I tell people that when you want to do something, there is no plan B. Like you got to
Yeah.
figure this plan A out. And so you know what I mean. So you
Hmm.
don't have to say yes. So if you guys believe the thing wholeheartedly, man, roll with it. Look. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you see my shirt now. You see the.
I love seeing you wear that shirt. That's not the first time I've noticed you on one of your videos with that sweatshirt on. So you're making us proud, Kane. Thank you.
I like this hoodie, man. It feels so good. It feels so good. So okay, let's keep going with this thing, okay? So
Yeah.
okay, so once you guys, okay, started, doing your trial and error, what I'm saying? Now I guess it should be a you question. How hard was it to continue building your team for the dream to come forth? Like I said, I know you started with your mom and people you named earlier, but I mean, let's talk about that as far as building your team.
It's well, our team was very small for a few years. Um, so, we've definitely evolved and matured and grown over the last few years as an organization, as a school, and
Yeah.
we have a fully established team now. But as you probably know, a lot of times in the early stages of a business,
Yes.
you can't hire everybody that you really need.
Right.
So those of us who were here wore many hats and did many jobs and played many roles.
Right.
So was a it was a process of becoming financially where we could actually divide the roles and the positions amongst the people that needed to share those roles and positions. And it's not easy to find Montessori teachers in a community like LaGrange.
Right.
Montessori schools and training centers are located in urban areas in
Yeah.
bigger cities. And so it's a process of either finding people within our community that we know are right for this job and then sending them off to become trained Montessori teachers,
Okay.
or recruiting from, somewhere like Atlanta or another big city and convincing someone that it's a good idea to move to LaGrange, Georgia from one of those places.
Yeah. So okay. So Now, what's the difference? Come and tell you, I used to work at a group home, right? And
Mhm.
I also worked in the school system at the group home, so I learned a little bit about the whole funding process. Now, the funding is it different from Montessori? From you know what I'm saying? I guess you could say I won't say regular school, but you know what I'm saying as far as a school system.
hmm Yeah, our funding is we're a private independent school, so we don't receive state federal funding. We don't receive government funding. We we're a tuition based school, so
Okay.
our main source of income is through tuition, the tuition that we charge for students to attend here. And since we're a nonprofit organization, we're eligible for grants and tax deductible donations. And so that's part of our funding stream as well, because we have one of our missions, or part of our mission has been to make Hillside Montessori accessible to people
Right.
from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic statuses, and we don't want to be an exclusive type of private school. And so our tuition doesn't fully cover the cost of educating each individual child. There's about $1,000 gap for what people pay for an individual tuition and what it actually costs to educate an individual child here.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so those grants and and streams of funding through private donors are essential to our business.
Yeah. I like that. So, what's your pleasure of doing this? I'm gonna be honest, man. I've been like totally like blown away how you guys been doing stuff over there with my son. I know, I know early his time come there, man. I'm gonna have to drag him out the vehicle, but you guys did so well with just making sure he's okay. He's getting better with it now, but like to me, that was a pleasure to me to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, what's your pleasure on a daily basis when you walking through out your facility?
First of all, saying that precious children like your son,
Yeah.
just walking down the hallway and seeing those big smiles,
Right.
and but more than that, it is the children, and I have to say children and adolescents, because 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds do not appreciate being called children. So the children and
Right.
adolescents who
Right.
go to school here love coming to school,
Okay.
and to walk down the halls and see these guys, these students, excited about being here, telling me that this feels like their home. That
Wow.
do we have to go on Christmas vacation? Like, we don't want
Yeah.
the school year to end, and we don't want to leave. We don't want to go away for the summer or for spring break. Um, they are engaged with one another. They are engaged with their teachers. They are engaged with the curriculum, and it is so rewarding. Our mission is to nurture lifelong learners,
Mm.
because we believe that if you're a learner, if you're curious about the world around you, and you skills that it takes to dive into those curiosities and find out more information, and chase your passions,
Yeah.
then you will be successful. You will find the thing that is going to make you successful in life, and you will pursue it. So, creating lifelong learners is what our mission is, and so that is, I really doing a good job. I go into the class, talk to students, and they're telling me how excited they are to be
Right.
doing the work that they're doing and to be learning the things that they're doing. And I think that is the greatest pleasure, is seeing the students and their teachers excited to do what we do every day.
Man, that's awesome. So okay, so what's next? I mean, what's next with Miss Bethany and the Hillside Montessori program? What's next?
Well, We got big things coming up. I mean, you're asking me at a good time, Kane, because this is something I'm excited to talk about right now.
Okay.
We're going to build a permanent campus. We are building a school.
Stop.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is something we have been working toward for the last almost 3 years now, and I actually have a very important meeting tonight and hope to be making an exciting announcement about a school location in the next few days. We have raised about 75% of the funding needed for this campus. And so that work has taken place over the last 3 years. And we have, if you could see this side of my office over here, you would see a big vision board that has our architects' renderings of a school, that has sketches of land, the programming, the budgets, and all of that is in place. And we're moving forward with that plan. So we hope that in August of 2022, we will be starting the school year in a place that will be Hillside Montessori's home for decades to come.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. That's huge. So, but let me tell you though, but that's that process we talking about though. You know, I mean, that's the process, that started, like you said, over 10 years ago. And here we are, what I'm saying? You're seeing some more fruit of your guys' labor, So that's huge, man. That's huge.
And look, and you talked earlier about ever second guessing, are there points where we have second guessed? And I would say this capital project, there have definitely been the last 3 times when really wondered, will we ever raise? Will we ever find a location?
Yeah.
There have been moments of celebration, and then there have been moments of just real pause and reflection and contemplation about whether or not do we need a permanent campus. I mean, we love where we are right now. We're appreciative to Troup County School System for allowing us to be here and lease this space, and it's great. It works well for us, but we always, no matter how this capital project and building campaign becomes and challenges we face, we always come back as a board, as a committee, to the conclusion that our families, your son, you and your wife, and all the families here deserve a place to call home, a campus that they know is theirs, that they can invest in and grow in. And so we're committed to making it happen. And yes, there have been times where that process has seemed grueling, and maybe something that we needed to step back and reconsider, but we always move forward.
Keep pushing forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the game. So, okay. So if you had one thing, okay, to tell an inspiring business owner, no matter what they're trying to do, an inspired entrepreneur, what would that one thing be?
This is what I think about entrepreneurship, and I never have thought of myself as an entrepreneur. And I mean, recently I've been asked to, by people like you to talk about the process, and I've talked to a class at LaGrange College in recent years about that. And I meet young people, or I just meet people in general who say, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I think the important thing is for the goal not to be, I want to run a business. I want to have my own business. The goal should be to find a need within your community and start from there. Start from the drive to meet that need, instead of just the drive to own your own business. And to find that need and to start to put together the pieces of how you can fulfill that need through an organization or a business. I think that's what I would say to entrepreneurs.
I like that's good stuff. So let me ask you this though, okay, before we go. Now, let's talk about leadership and empowerment. You know what I'm saying? How much that plays in your process of you empowering the people around you?
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's such a great question, because that is exactly what we do here. The whole point of a child-centered education is to empower children to take ownership of their own learning
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Because we know when we are empowered as children or as adults or in between, then that is when we reach our full potential.
Right.
When we take ownership and responsibility for whatever it is that we're doing.
Right.
So certainly the role of our guides, our teachers here at Hillside Montessori, is to empower the children to take responsibility for their education. And then my role is to empower those guides, those teachers,
Yeah.
to connect with their personal gifts and
Right.
talents and the training and the education that they've received, and find their way of taking the Montessori curriculum and the Montessori philosophy and making it blossom within their own classrooms.
Right.
Um, we work closely as a staff here. Just recently, we had our beginning of the year back to school New Year staff meeting, and we talked about why each of us is here. And we went around the room and shared our purpose here, and why we choose to spend so much of our time, so much of our lives in
Right.
this place. And to me, that was empowering to me, because I realized how committed our staff is and how invested they are, and how important it is to build a community within your organization, within your business, and to nurture the people who work there and to build healthy relationships, because I think that sense of community is such an important part of what we're doing. And
Right. Right.
so that's empowering to me, to get that back from the people who work here.
Worked out. Man, that's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Listen, I sure appreciate you taking time out, just dropping the gems at people and talk about, what I'm saying, your journey, man. I really, really appreciate you getting on today.
Well, it's been fun, Kane. And what I ask of you is return is that I want to hear your story soon. Right? You're going to do this for yourself, and we're going to get to hear you tell
You want
your
to hear my
story.
story, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Most definitely. Hey, I'm gonna do that. Simply because you asked me, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, if you want me to interview you, just let me know.
Yes. Okay, y'all heard it. It's better gonna interview me. We're gonna make it happen.
Yep, I'm ready when you are.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna put that together. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Kanesaid. And y'all know my slogan, man. The fame is free, but the grind costs. And we want to thank Miss Bethany coming in and dropping, showing love to everybody out there. Zip them up, everybody.